tonight we have Chef Jeffrey on the right and Spike on the left. And so thank you for joining. We've got 3 people on. Let me load up my iPad and then I will be able to see the comments in the chat. So if you guys have any questions about Holmes Hingebacks, let me know and we'll take them. So Harlan is here, Patrick, and Matt. So Matt, I totally need super chats, and yes, we are working towards monetization. So today we are going to show you our Holmes Hingebacks. Now, Patrick asked, "Is that a forest hingeback?" And so the word forest hingeback is a general term that in the pet trade is applied to 2 different species. The Holmes hingeback, which is what we have here, and then the Conyxus erosa, or the eroded hingeback, which is also called the forest hingeback. Both of those animals are called the forest hingeback.
They're very, very similar.
They're very, very similar. I do not work with Conyxus erosa, but one of the big ways you can tell the difference is on their carapace. The Holmes hingeback juts down at a 90-degree angle, almost, whereas the Conyxus erosa, or the eroded hingeback, kind of comes down at an angle like that. There are also other differences.
Like the erosa doesn't have a middle scoop.
Yeah, so there is the scoop called the nuchal scoop, and that is the small little scoop right above the head. Conyxus homiana has the scoop. Sorry, I'm too high. Conyxus homiana has the scoop, but Conyxus erosa does not have that little middle scoop right above the head. The 2 bigger ones just come together in a perfect scene. So that's the difference. These animals are captive bred. One of the reasons I'm doing this live tonight is because I wanted to talk about the progress with these guys. These are the 2 animals that I have left that hatched in the 2019-2020 season. So Spike was hatched in December 1st, 2019. So Spike is now 3 years old. And, this is what I've done. I don't know if I'm doing it right, ultimately. I have some really, really big tortoises. Did I feed them too much? Are they growing too fast? I don't know, but darn, they look great. Hoosier Turtles and Tortoises says that his are very light colored. And so I have found that the captive bred ones that I've produced are very dark. Spike here has a much more dark chocolate look, whereas Chef Jeffrey, who I don't want to bother because she is hooking up a lot of, she's just sucking up water. So how I've raised these up is that they have been in closed chambers their entire life. So they have never experienced anything less than 90% relative humidity for more than 30 minutes. Yeah. And these guys love water. So
they love it.
They love water. I mean, they are stream dwellers probably. And the problem when you have a nice water bowl with them is that they just poop in it and it make it a disaster. So
yeah.
I soak these guys every 3 days and they just
love it.
Suck up the water. You want to hold one? So Brody's gonna hold Jet. I have 2 groups.
Not Jet.
Sorry, not Jet. Spike.
Wrong tortoise.
But Spike is like Jet. So some Homiana tend to have this darker color, and then others have them more brown. So Chef Jeffrey is dark, but not quite as dark as Spike.
I would say Chef Jeffrey, his base color is a lot brighter, but overall Spike has a little bit more bright coloration because of his
the contrast.
marbling.
The contrast is really there, and unfortunately, I only have 2 animals from Spike's bloodline. So Spike, and then Little Guy, and Little Guy is the little tortoise that
Really?
barely grows. Yeah, Little Guy is the sibling to Spike. For whatever reason, one pair it's been hard for me to produce with that other pair.
But they create beautiful tortoises.
Yeah, so
Which is
if you look at my 2022 review video, you'll go back and see that I say, man, I really need to get more tortoises from Spike's bloodline. Chef Jeffrey, like, if I've hatched 25 Homiana since 2020 about, 23 of those have been Chef Jeffrey's bloodline from one female. Only 2 of them have been from the other. Why do you think that is?
Well, you have more males with her, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you have more males with Lucy.
We do. So Lucy's in a reverse trio, so maybe that's part of it. There's
Also,
2 males in there. And the other thing is Lucy, like, is not shy about laying her eggs.
No.
I always know when she's laying. She walks around the enclosure. She tries to get out, and then she lays like at 6 o'clock.
We need to have like a lay bin for her.
But Ethel, who's Spike's mom, is a lot more secretive. I'm constantly digging up eggs that are really old that I miss. So I'm palpating her every weekend.
You should do it every day.
I can't do it every day. But so, who's your torts? Feeding them. What these guys have primarily eaten are
Should I go grab that?
pellets.
Should I go grab the pellets?
You can. You want to grab some?
Yeah.
When I first had them, I'd raise them up on shrimp, like babies. When they were hatched, like raw shrimp, raw beef heart, chopped up, and Zoomed aquatic turtle growth. The aquatic turtle growth mixed in with herbs I buy from Capidola Farms. That's actually the Missouri LS.
Would work.
So I would feed them when they were young, like up to a year, like every other day practically. These guys get fed about 2 times a week, and now I feed them because I have a lot of animals, primarily Zoomed, primarily Missouri Original and Missouri Crock Chow, about 50-50, and then I mix that with a lot of different herbs to give them fiber and some additional
Younger
nutrients.
ones, we feed a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms, for sure. I would say the babies, like every 3rd or every 4th feeding, I will give them mushrooms.
Yeah.
My animals, I just really have them going on the pellets, and I used to be a lot more adventurous and go out and buy raw shrimp and smelt, and some people feed them carrion, like Ryan Dumas. He feeds them thawed out mice. I'm not a snake guy. We don't have mice in our house, and so we don't have that. Thawed baby chicks would be something, and they love that. Around Thanksgiving, I'll give them the giblets, so the liver, the kidneys. That's just a very rare occurrence. They don't ever get fruit at all. I don't feed any fruit. Sometimes watermelon rinds.
I feed them like strawberry every now and then.
Okay, well, there you go. Brody tosses them a strawberry every once in a while.
No, I would feed them.
Do they ever eat the eggs? The 2 Homiana that I have always bury their eggs. They are really, really good.
Well,
at nesting. I've never noticed an egg on the surface.
I have.
Okay.
Well, remember that?
Sure, it wasn't a mushroom.
No, remember that one time I was walking about, hey, you should check eggs, and then I found an egg.
One in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brody found one.
I remember one time,
good
you were
stuff.
with me.
The Nogs, I do have a female that has been laying on the surface, but, and I have found her with egg on her mouth, but
Yeah.
yeah, feel free to reach out.
Guys,
Yeah.
also, I want to promote my dad's business. He sells them to good homes only.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we are now to the point where I do sell some animals through turtles and tortoises.com.
A lot of
So
trades.
J
as well.
Frewer.
Also a lot of trades.
So we happened to do a trade, so we have a little surprise at the end of the night, and Brody looked at me like, Dad, how did you make this happen? And Dad, this is a big moment in your
This is the first
tortoise
time
keeping history.
in
so-
my life. The first time in my life. I'm 11. Almost 12. First time in my life that he has brought a species of tortoise that is not a
Well,
hinge-
how do you know it's a tortoise? Wait, I don't think it's a tortoise. Ha ha ha.
Huh.
So Phil, yeah, they are. My theory about turtles and tortoises really are tortoises. All land turtles are scavengers, and they will essentially eat anything organic that they come across. So some tortoises just happen to live in habitats that have a lot of stuff, biomatter, a lot of organic matter in their environment. So the forests, the Hingebacks, Arosa and Homiana, Minoria, Indo-Testudo, any of these tortoises, redfoots, that live in a place where they can eat animal protein, often dead things or bugs, they're going to do it. And yeah, the savanna species, they're just not encountering those things. And so they have to eat vegetables, plant matter, and things like that. But, I mean, it'd be very interesting to do experiments where people raise up so-called herbivorous tortoises on a higher protein diet, right? I know people have talked about it a little bit, but I've seen things on Facebook saying, hey, look, I fed my sulcata tortoise dog food for 3 years and I grew this perfectly smooth tortoise. But, long term is probably not good for them or their gut. But, it is interesting.
One thing I've heard from the guy who has Otis, what's his name?
Chris,
I was watching a video of his, like the best tortoises or whatever, and there was this tortoise, I forget what it's called, but it was like the most aggressive tortoise. They are known to like kill each other.
Greek tortoises, I think.
No, like kill each other.
I mean, Hingebacks will kill each other. One time, my two Nogui males, one crossed over into the other one's pen, and the animal that lost, man, its legs, its front, feet where they cover up their head. The loser was like missing scales. I mean, they are mean to each other, the Conyxus Nogui. So I would put Nogui up with any tortoise. So.
They would kill each other. Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, there you go. So, who's your turts and torts? A bird nest got knocked down in my horse fields in Herman's tortoise. So the big females were chowing down on baby birds. So yeah, this happens. This happens in nature. It's probably really rare for tortoises to do that live in dry habitats
But if they get
where there's just not a lot of biomass, right?
But if they get the opportunity, they will.
But if you think about the African rainforest, it is full of things just raining down on the tortoises. Dead animals, feces, fruit, seeds, and yeah, they're gonna go throughout and just sample what they can find. There's a lot of water, so they're gonna catch things like crayfish. I just learned there's this really weird African crab that lives in the tropical forests of West Africa and Central
We should
Africa.
get some of those.
It's going to eat fish, dead fish that like kind of wash up against the stream. They might go into the stream and catch little things.
Not deep.
Well, but
streams.
they've been seen in rivers, floating down rivers, right? So
We should try
think
that.
of them as just like three-toed box turtles or something. They're a floodplain species in many cases, and that's how they distribute themselves. So, yeah, that would be awesome, Matt, if you could send us some pictures. So, yeah, so these guys, 3 years old, they're pretty big. I mean, they're both female. They have big tails. However, the males have ginormous, hugest tail you've ever seen kind of thing.
Really?
So these are both female. I'm hoping that Rooster, who is a 2022 holdback that I have over there, will be a male, and then he will be able to mate with Spike, and then I'm incubating now my Homiana eggs at 75 degrees. 75 degrees, okay? That is insanely cool, but when I heard Anthony Pierleone talking about how low some of these Asian turtle species are incubated at, and I'm like, it's the same, yes, it's at the tropics, but inside the forest, in the ground, it's actually cool. If you read the Phil Lawson paper, I think that's his name, Dwight Lawson, is that it? I think that's it. He's a guy that did research on Homiana and Erosa in Cameroon, okay? And so he took the temperatures of hingebacks in situ. Like he would encounter a hingeback, he would temp gun them, measure the temperature of the hingebacks. It was 72 degrees, like in the middle of the day. So these animals, yes, they live in these hot, humid areas, but they're picking places where it remains relatively cool. And if it gets too hot and too dry, they bury underground. And observing them, my theory, why they have this notch on their shell, is that actually helps them dig into the substrate and bury themselves. I've never seen anybody else comment on that, but that's what they do. They kind of dig down and then they'll go side to side and use that gash, that little hook on that flare of their carapace to dig, and it's really impressive. If the room gets really dry, they'll start to do that. So, yeah, Kyle. I mean, they're big. They are 3 years old. Is this too fast? You know, I don't know. They're healthy. We'll see. Ryan Dumas, who I do the Let's Talk Turtle podcast with, by the way, new Let's Talk Turtle podcast. Go listen. It's 2 hours of Will Espenshade talking about tortoise nutrition. If you love turtles and tortoises, you will love this episode. But yeah, in the wild, these guys go through, even though they're in the forest, it still has a dry season and a wet season. So during that dry season, they're probably underground, they're not growing. So we don't replicate that here, but you know, it's hard to like stop feeding your tortoise or really drastically cutting back on the tortoise food for a long time. So.
All right, Dad. Should we show the surprise now?
So we are ready. Does any other questions about the hingeback before we do the big reveal? Stick around. Don't go anywhere because this is a pretty monumental moment. Yeah, I mean these guys. I need to weigh them, but they're probably 800 grams. So, okay, do you have it or?
No.
Okay.
I was waiting for you to get
So,
it down. Should I go?
Yep. Bring it.
Sweet.
So here's our next story. I don't know. I can get that to you, Matt. I haven't weighed them in a while. I actually have a scale. Like underneath the table, but so we're gonna switch. So guys, I have filled my turtle and tortoise room. You know, I started working with three-toed box turtles last fall. And if I'm going to start working and grow what I have, it is going to be working with cold tolerant species. So, Brody. Ta-da!
A Greek tortoise.
So this is a Greek tortoise from Arizona tortoise compound from Andrew. I'm going to send Andrew one of my 3-year-old Nagui, and now we are working with this little one.
Yeah, he's so cute.
It's
look at that belly.
Oh, yep, just keep him. Yep, there you go.
He's so cute. Absolutely gorgeous. You see how it has those nice dots along his back? That's absolutely beautiful.
Yep. This is the Anamurensis locale.
Really? That's a locale? I thought that was the
Yeah.
central.
It's Testudo Greca Ibera, and it's the Anamurensis locale. And the Anamurensis locale of the Greek tortoise is the one that gets that rear flaring of the carapace. So we are super excited to grow this little guy up.
This is the first time we've had a tortoise species. I was saying this earlier. This is the first time my dad has brought an animal, a tortoise, into this house that is not a part of the Hingeback family.
Yep.
First time.
And this is going to be more like a family pet.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned that it can tolerate cold temperatures. Absolutely. We're the plan for this guy once he gets a little bit bigger, which will be pretty quickly, but to live outside. And here in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, he can probably live outside from, March through middle November.
Like late March.
Yep, and then we'll hibernate him in the garage like the box turtles. We actually have a heated garage, and this winter I've been keeping the garage and the box turtles. I heat it to 40 degrees, so that's not very much, but that just takes the edge off. And we got down to like 2 degrees just before Christmas, and I was able to keep the box turtle at 40 degrees as cold. So awesome. So Patrick, yep, awesome. Yeah, no. So Tahani has a really cool story. Tahani lives in Nigeria, and I met him because he bought a hingeback, a Holmes hingeback, at a market in Nigeria. And so I'm helping him raise that one up, and it's kind of fun to talk to you. So thanks for joining, Tahani. Yeah, Phil, that's good to hear you say that, right? Because I'm not a box turtle expert. I'm learning, and we let them see it. We're learning. So I read a lot of things about box turtles. There's great information, and gonna work with Matt to hopefully give some homes to some more this summer once I get my secure lid on the box turtle enclosure. This past fall, I was bringing them inside every night. So, got to get that.
We'll do that probably late March.
Yep, we'll be working on it. So, you think? Yeah. Okay. That's good to know, even for the 3 toads. So they did get down to like 35, and I was pretty nervous. And then, people say like 38 to 50. That's what I've read, but that is good to know. And this is the first time I'm doing this, so am I nervous? Yeah, a little bit. I know
It'll be we're gonna have how to explain this? Like, digging through the bin.
Yeah.
Like a big digging through the bin.
Yeah.
To see if
Yeah.
happening. And if the hibernating boxers don't really work out, I don't think we should hibernate this guy.
We'll get better. We'll learn.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it better.
I think hibernation is okay, but
Cool. I will reach out
for
to Sandy. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, should I put this little guy away?
Yeah. So, any questions about where we're headed? Please go and listen to the Let's Talk Turtles podcast.
Please do.
Will Espenshade, fantastic. Fantastic thing. A couple other things. We can now go live together. So Matt, if you would wanna explore box turtle hibernation more in depth next Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, maybe that's something we could go live together and do and talk about it. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. Trying to do 2 shorts a day just to give you a nice dose of turtles and tortoises. The shorts are what are driving this channel. The lives, though, are really key, too. So we really appreciate you coming and sticking around and just talking turtles. So
even if you just go watch the shorts and kind of even if you just watch the shorts and just go to our profile and watch 5, that really helps.
So yeah, share. We're building a community. We want to do these. We want you to join us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
And remember,
we'll talk
the
turtles.
more you watch, the more content you get.
Yeah, Brody is a YouTube expert.
Yes. My hours is 6.5 a day.
You watch 6.5 hours of
Can you hold
YouTube.
this?
Yeah.
My glove
I'm
just
getting
broke.
tired.
My glove just broke.
So.
I can show you. I don't have my phone
Okay,
to
Matt.
prove it.
Well, we might have to do that. So, okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll update you on this little guy.
Wait.
We need to give him a name or her a name. I looked up the Turkish word for tortoise, but I don't remember it. And yeah, thanks for joining. And we will see you next time. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Hello. Bye.
Bye, everyone.